Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining this early. We're going to wait a couple more minutes for everyone to be able to join and to listen in. So during that, feel free to sit back, relax, and listen to the great music.
Hello, everyone. Also, warm welcome from my side. Let's wait another few minutes and then we can start with this month's update.
Hi, everyone. Also, welcome from me. Hope you all had a great day so far. And yeah, excited to see how you like our latest community update.
So I would say we're ready to start now. So everybody, thank you very much for joining and welcome to the ONINO December 24 community update. The last of the year. It's been many community updates this year, exactly 12, and a couple more since we've started. We're nearing the 3-year ONINO anniversary, so really looking forward to that. And I would say without further ado, let's jump right into it. And this month's What is ONINO is brought to you by Lucas.
Yes, welcome everyone. And for all the new one and existing community members, let's give you a quick rundown on what is ONINO. So essentially, ONINO is a blockchain company from Germany, and we want to bring tokenization to the masses by making it easily accessible for anyone, even without technological or legal knowledge to do so. For that, we've basically built 3 pillars. One is our own ONINO blockchain, our main chain that allows public and private subchains for anyone that wants to operate their use cases. Then for supporting builders in blockchain, as everyone knows, building on blockchain is not the most convenient thing in the world. We have created our developer platform that supports any developer with our AI assistants or AI agents that help in creating smart contracts, creating integrations, and creating fully new solutions, our templates, easy one-click deployments, and general APIs that make your life as a developer much easier. And then the last one is the cherry on the top, the thing that is currently taking the financial world by storm, which is tokenization, or our answer to tokenization in general, which is our tokenization platform. This is enabling every company or enterprise worldwide to easily tokenize, fractionalize, and monetize any kind of asset, starting from your usual use cases like real-world asset tokenization in terms of real estate, for example, or solar farms, one of our dearest or use case dearest to our heart, going as far as tokenization of traditional financial assets or even intangible assets like intellectual property and such. All this within one platform on top of our whole ecosystem, with anyone without requiring any technical or legal know-how in beforehand.
All right, perfect, Lucas. Thank you very much. And with this, let's jump right into the next topic, which is the events. So we had a couple events, or one main event in November, and this was the Web Summit. On the left side, you see the great faces that were joining the Web Summit, which is Kai, Lucas, and I, Alex. And we brought you a couple pictures, kind of as proof that we were there. No, we just I think it's just nice to show you some pictures, what we did there. This was, for example, the Startup Germany night. Germany was or is the official sponsor and one of the biggest sponsors of the Web Summit. So they had the greatest events, and they also had the greatest venue that I'm going to show to you later. And this was just one night where they had an event with many people from the German ecosystem, but also international ecosystems. Even Robert Habeck was there. So many important people from German politics as well. So this was pretty cool. Here you see our stand, which was at the German park, which, as you see in the background, really it had trees. It had this little stand where you could stand and had your screen and a little representation of what you do. And compared to the other countries' stands, this booth was really a good one and a substantial one. So this was pretty cool, seeing Germany having the most successful and most great looking and interesting booths at the Web Summit, and was great for us as a great representation. As always, we were really lucky with the placement, so we were right into where people were walking around, right to the exterior. So many people were passing around. We had many scheduled but also unscheduled conversations with people, so that was very successful as well. And yeah, all around, I'm going to give you a little more details on the next slide. But before that, a couple more pictures. This is a chat that I had with Finoa. They're a German blockchain company as well. They're also focusing on tokenization, but on the infrastructure part. And they will be a great, or would and can be a great partner for ONINO with what they do. So this was a great discussion as well, where we talked about the implications of tokenization on one hand, on institutional levels, on the technological level, and on the other hand, on the more user-centric and application-centric level, how we do it as ONINO. And this was great. Many people listening to it, many that already knew tokenization, many new ones that didn't, and really had fun talking about this. Then little obligatory tourism picture in front of the Web Summit sign in Lisbon. Beautiful weather, that was great. So if you ever happen to be there, enjoy the city, enjoy the food. If you have been there, you know how amazing it is. And besides the whole summit and the whole professional work, having great food in your belly, I think Kai and Lucas can say so as well, is really helpful for those long and stressful days. So, as I promised, I wanted to bring you a couple of numbers in details. We can't go too much into detail, but what we can tell you is that we had more than 100 contacts, which we have all written down. So not just the ones that we were chatting a little with, but really the ones where we thought, okay, it's substantial enough to write it down, to revisit them, and to make calls afterwards. And we had things ranging from innovative international startups to ESG companies. We have talked about those a lot in the past, which would be solar, wind, and battery. We had many RWA projects that we talked to. Then we also had multiple potential partners for the ONINO ecosystem. And those will be or can be creating interesting ONINO blockchain applications in the future once we have launched our ecosystem. So this will be interesting as well. And also, as always, projects for the ONINO tokenization platform and for the tokenized funding platform or financing platform. And we had many companies ranging from all different directions and industries that were interested to use the ONINO financing platform with tokens to fund their means. So this will be really interesting to see how many customers we will have. As always, those things take a lot of time because they're really substantial. If you think about you're a company, you're approaching something, and then you hear of this technological thing that is tokenization, how you can fund your business. It's not something like, I don't know, a 10 euro per month subscription that you just do for listening to Spotify. It's so substantial that those companies oftentimes think about it months or even years. So just because we're talking to 100 and more contacts, of course, not all of them will be converted. That's totally normal. If you work in companies that do sales, you know how many people convert normally. And also, you know about those times. So just to be aware, you can't expect the results from them tomorrow. The ones we talked to at the Web Summit, maybe in a couple months, but we have been talking to many companies for much longer, and you will be hearing some news most likely this month for new projects that are going to start on the ONINO tokenization platform. So you can look forward to that. So, and upcoming events in December is, on one hand, on December 5th, we will be at an Accelerator Christmas event, which is the BWI, Baden-Württemberg International AI Express event. And then, interestingly, funnily, it will be in my hometown. So this will be pretty cool. We'll be there and we'll be pitching and we'll be talking to all the participants. Then on December 11th, it's the LTC incubator. LTC is not Litecoin. It's just another incubator that's called like that. And we'll be visiting an event there as well. And then December 18th will be an ONINO and Partners Christmas party or Christmas evening. And we'll just be celebrating a little. And sometimes we don't do it often enough, just be celebrating what we do and get some new motivation and energy for the coming days and months and years. So yeah, that will be December. December is always a little slower regarding official events and in the traditional way of working. We as ONINO, we don't really work like a normal company, so it's not going to be too much slower, but I think around Christmas and New Year's, we'll be taking some little breaks as well. I hope that's okay. I know that's okay. All right, then with that, let's jump right to the new partnership section.
Yes, and I'll just take over here. And we are really excited to let you know about this new partnership. From our perspective, this might be the biggest partnership yet, and especially the partnership that will enable us to start working towards worldwide tokenization. And this partnership is, you see it already on the screen, CashLink. Cash, who is something you might ask now, but let me walk you through the next 3 slides to show you why this partnership is so important, what it will enable us to do, and how the distribution of tokenized assets will fundamentally change with us integrating with CashLink and partnering up with them. So first of all, let's start with who is CashLink actually. CashLink as a company is a fellow German company that has been focused on tokenization for a very long time, but they focus on a different part that fully complements what we do. So as you see on the next slide is that CashLink is the provider of what we call a crypto securities register. And the crypto securities register is something you can imagine as a fully compliant register of any kind of asset that is falls under the Electronic Securities Act or EWPG and all European regulations such as MiCA, for example. So in other words, this is the baseline needed for us to standardize the issuance of tokenized assets, not only in Europe, but also around the world, essentially allowing us to standardize issuance of such assets to any country in the world we are allowed to work with. Also, CashLink is very well established in the financial world. It is one of the leading providers of compliancy infrastructure, also connected with financial institutions, banks, and wealth managers such as the VBank, Sparkasse, R-Trade, and much different providers that we all immediately get access to by integrating their compliancy infrastructure, opening even more doors than just this one partnership. And what it allows us in terms of a few bullet points, CashLink allows us as ONINO to access cost savings of up to 80% when it comes to tokenizing of assets, because the standardization is key here. It makes so many things much easier. It allows us to operate on a fully regulated framework for tokenized securities, so we do not have to rely on any workarounds when tokenizing an asset, issuing an asset. We can issue it fully compliant, fully compatible with any existing outlet of financial institutions, and all within a standardized process. It allows us to facilitate access to private markets, even private markets such as private equity markets, private bond markets, private fund markets, that were basically behind closed doors, as the regulatory baseline for tokens was not established yet. And it allows us to further future-proof the infrastructure of our main chain through the regulated compliancy crypto security register. Now, a little bit more about what the securities register means for us at ONINO. On the next slide, you see that we've always been telling you how much we value being regulatory compliant, because we know it might be a marathon rather than a sprint, and it might seem that it will only pay off in the long run, but it 100% pays off going the hard route and not trying to find shady workarounds for tokenizing an asset. And this is why this integration and partnership now actually allows us to be fully compliant to issue any kind of tokenized security throughout Europe and beyond. It allows us through the registry API to connect investors and issuers and have a whole process that is bulletproof, compliant, and checks any box of any institutional issuer or investor that they need for their own compliancy in their companies. What we can issue there is actual equity, debt, or you may call it bonds in general, actual funds. We can tokenize a whole fund on chain, and this is actually the way how to really tokenize a real world asset, at least legally compliant in the main jurisdictions we want to operate in. Of course, it was possible beforehand, but you always had some more or less sketchy legal workarounds, or you would have no real ownership. And this is what allows us to actually create real ownership. All of this will be on-chain as tokenized securities. And the next big thing that we are really excited about is that with these compliancy standards, we will be integrated with the biggest financial institutions. What are these financial institutions? Our main goal is to allow efficient distribution and integrations to such institutions. And as we can see on the next slide, with the combined power of ONINO and Cashlink together, we achieve multiple integrations. On the one hand, these are integrations with other platforms, other tokenization platforms that allow just to kind of multiply the reach of the ONINO tokenization platform. Financial institutions, these are banks, these are wealth managing banks, and just general financial institutions within Germany and in Europe in the long run. And through that, we also get access to wealth and asset managers, something that is actually really important. Right now, for example, it is extremely hard to sell a tokenized asset to high net worth individuals. But if you get access to wealth and asset managers, they themselves will be incentivized to do so, and lets us access just a much, much broader base of people interested in tokenized assets. So all in all, these are just a few facts about Cashlink. I'm happy to answer more of your questions later. But this is really the foundational layer for us to bring tokenization just to the next level, bring compliancy in tokenization to the next level, and increase standardization to a way that we will look towards the future where tokenized assets can be accessible anywhere, can be traded anywhere, and can also be integrated with so many more outlets throughout the whole space.
All right, perfect. Lucas, thank you very much. I think it's not to understate how big those news are. It's been something we've been working on a long time. I think we've mentioned it here and there as big partnerships coming up. As always, we can't name names beforehand. Now you know, Cashlink and ONINO, it's a really great cooperation. I think looking on the face, some might think that it is Cashlink or ONINO. The great thing is that it's Cashlink and ONINO, as Cashlink is focusing much more on the deeper tech, like Lucas said, on the infrastructure level, and we focus on it one layer on top of it with the ONINO tokenization platform, and interestingly, one layer below it with the ONINO blockchain. So they will be able to use the blockchain, and we will be able to use their tech for the tokenization and having it regulatory compliant. And that's pretty cool. All right, then Kai, you're the next with tokenization platform update.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alex and Lucas. As always, also this month we will give you a little update to give you more insights what's going on behind the scenes of the development of the new tokenization platform. So on the one hand, we have been focusing on further features for issuers, which means we're currently still in the process, and this is a long process also with client feedback, to improve our admin dashboard and all of its advanced functionalities, such as, for example, customized data exports that you will need for reporting and compliance. And also following up on the great partnership announcement Lucas has just brought to you. Also, our development team has been busy with implementing our partnership with CashLink. So we have had a first successful, very nice coordination workshop with the CashLink tech team. Basically have discussed the integration, how we want to proceed, what to watch out for, and discuss basically all of their best practices. Yeah, as you can imagine, now obviously as our prime tokenization partner for tokenized securities, now the integration of CashLink into the ONINO tokenization platform is in full progress, and we are a lot focusing on this right now on the development team in the background. Basically, what we're building on or working on right now is that we build a secure API gateway that basically kind of like a tunnel, you can imagine, connects the current ONINO tokenization platform basically with CashLink's crypto registry infrastructure. So this is basically our main focus right now. And the wonderful thing is, via that integration with the CashLink integration, our users of the tokenization platform can easily emit fully BaFin registered and compliant tokenized securities. And the great thing of this is that it allows us to really establish a new technical standard process that allows to tokenize flexibly any kind of asset, and that's secure and fully regulatory compliant, but on the other hand, also easy to use and user-friendly for everyone, right? So as Lucas said already, we can now basically develop a standardized process together with CashLink to tokenize debt financing, company shares, funds, as well as real estate. And on the next slide, we're gonna have a little bit more technical view behind the scenes. So yeah, as Lucas has wonderfully presented, CashLink is a wonderful compliance partner for us that basically is fully BaFin compliant and handles all of the crypto registry fully compliant. But yeah, and while this is a good thing, of course, with compliance, there comes also a lot of effort. So for example, on the left side, you see a rather simple flowchart, simple in big quotes, which only shows the part of all the necessary communication between registries and systems that is only required for someone to basically invest in a crypto security. And this is only like the investment part, not everything else. So you see, while regulatory compliance is always a good thing, it always brings a lot of complexity with it. And what basically the ONINO tokenization platform with this integration with CashLink is bringing is that it's fully simplifying this whole process. So basically, users don't have to notice anything of the whole underlying complexity. And basically, our platform provides an easy to use yet secure and compliant interface to tokenize any kind of asset and make that as easy as possible for everyone. And also, if you have any more technical questions, how exactly we are designing this integration with CashLink, always feel free to dress up. We're gonna be happy to answer your questions. And on the next slide, there's a little reminder or a little new info for everyone joining for the first time. We have currently a live demo version of the ONINO tokenization platform on our very own ONINO testnet, where you, as yourself, can basically simply test out the tokenization platform. You can just easily sign up for free, of course, create a test tokenization project. And you can also, with that, participate in our competition that may bring you the great advantage to be able to use the tokenization platform on our future mainnet totally for free. And we'll also provide you with more information on that in the chat if you still want to have a read and participate in our competition. With that, I would pass the ball back to Alex.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Just catching it and throwing it to Lucas.
Yes, called it. In the last section of today's community update, we really want to kind of give you a little insight on token utility and what you can expect in terms of how essential the utility token is for, as you see, securing the ONINO main chain, providing gas fees for validators, for subchain registration, and also what many of you have been asking for, how does the tokenization platform in general play into the picture here? Let's focus on these things individually. First, we'll start with securing the network through consensus and gas fees. These are more likely the standard ways of how you know the OG tokens or OG coins, how they are correctly called, work. So ONI in itself is the medium to facilitate ecosystem-wide transactions within the ONINO blockchain network and ecosystem. It is used for gas fees. It enables smooth and efficient network transactions and also allows smart contracts to either be called or smart contracts to call other smart contracts within the ONINO blockchain. Through validators, ONI allows staking or delegated staking to participate in the consensus mechanism, and is this way a really integral part of the ONINO ecosystem, and ensures integrity and fosters decentralization. Then lastly, as you can see on the slide, is that the punitive mechanisms like slashing is an economics incentive we know throughout all blockchains that is necessary to align the interest for all actors, because it is kind of an economic disincentive to discourage harmful activities within a decentralized network. So this is how it plays together. But the token is so much more, as it is such a key integral part of all the ecosystem, tokenization platforms, subchains, and the main chain, and how we will see in the next slide. So it is not only used for paying for transaction fees, but it's mandatory for validators to stake 35,000 ONI to secure the network and then open the door for earning rewards. Any malicious activity, of course, will be encountered with slashing, as I mentioned. And when you do not want to operate as a validator or node operator, you will be allowed in the future to delegate tokens to stake. This is the normal procedure, something we've seen over and over again. So nothing new and nothing special there, but as we know, stick with what works. What is more interesting is the subchain framework that is also part of our future roadmap. So any company or person, project that wants to operate in a subchain on ONINO will be required to lock ONI token to actually register, and if accepted, run that subchains, and thus enabling scalable and application-specific blockchain solutions that run independently without any noisy neighbor problem. Then the subchains themselves will also be required to spend ONI, to say so, for facilitating consensus on the main chain if they basically are relying on the main chain consensus to facilitate a state transfer on their subchain. And in some cases, also the operation of a subchain might require running nodes or a validator on the ONINO main chain, which in itself also ties into the validator requirements above. And again, for subchain, the same as for validators, any malicious activity that kind of goes against general idea and promise of the ONINO ecosystem will be encountered with slashing. And the next part we want to go into is, how does the token involve with what we've been building so strongly the last few months in terms of tokenization platform? In general, we do want to integrate a lot of functionality there, and there are a few things we see. It's important to mention these are no guarantees, and we can't guarantee anything around the token itself, but we are working towards building benefits for our community. So these benefits can include lower fees, these can include priority access or discount on selected projects. Also, an ecosystem benefit we're working towards is creating an environment for developers to not only feel welcome, not only have a great time for developing, but also having economic incentives that push them just one step forward. And these are basically our gas fee redistribution mechanisms, something we've put on our roadmap to allow any deep app with a monthly threshold reaching approximately 1 million monthly transactions to receive a percentage of gas fee redistribution. This leads to ONI as a core element of our ecosystem to foster the development of innovation, innovative applications, and marketplace solutions to grow on our network, and all pays into the goal of creating a long-term, sustainable platform where any participant can benefit from. And if you want to know more about the token itself, I can't give any spoilers, but we might have a Christmas present for you where you will learn much more than a few things I mentioned right now in this presentation.
All right, perfect. And with that is now question time. As always, feel free to ask any questions anywhere you are listening to this or watching that. So feel free to put them in the Telegram chat, in the YouTube comments, or in the Twitter comments. And we will do our best to answer those in written form on those specific platforms. So if you have any questions regarding what we told you now, or if you have any questions that have piled up in the last time, now is your time. Quick fire them at us. We will do our best to answer them live in those respective chats. And with that, I say thank you very much. We will be leaving the stream and answering the questions in written form. So, as always, thank you for listening. We're looking forward to the next one. It will be next year. So until then, enjoy the rest of the month of December. Have great holidays, and we will hear each other next year.
Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful start to the new year, and see you soon.
Thank you very much, everyone. And keep a look out for the Telegram chat. We will be sharing a survey soon where you can tell you a few things that you think about, and more information on that will be shared with the survey.
And there will be some more information releases in December before we end up the year. So as always, it's great to have a look at the Telegram chat. With that, thank you and bye.